If there is one thing that gets me super excited, it's new commercial applications coming to the Linux desktop. And today I am super excited to announce the open beta of Soundly. I'm not affiliated with them at all. I just got early access to be a beta tester on this application. If you're not familiar with what Soundly is, Mac and Windows users have been able to use it for a while now, and I've been kind of jealous. It is great for creatives to be able to use sound effects in a curated library that makes searching and everything super easy. But the cool thing is you can then drag and drop these sound effects directly into your editing application of choice. And it's not just for video pros, it's also for audio pros. If you are a sound designer or something like that, you can use Soundly to directly import these sounds right into your application seamlessly. And the very cool thing is I got to go to NAB in Las Vegas earlier this year, and I met the Soundly team and I told them I wanted a Linux version. Unbeknownst to me, they actually were already working on one, which was incredible to hear. So I gave them my email and told them a few things that I wanted to see, and I'm super excited to announce that the beta is now live and you can go try it as well. There are a few things that they have done that just blow my mind that I am so excited about, and I think all Linux users are going to be very excited for as well. Not only are you able to use Soundly as everybody loves it and drag and drop into things like DaVinci Resolve, they even added a few little extras just for us Linux users. If you're a Kdenlive editor, you can actually use Soundly to drag and drop directly into Kdenlive. I talked with them about that being cool, and that was super awesome to see get put in there. They also added Audacity and Ardour, so if you guys are using either of those tools, you can drag and drop directly from Soundly. So they have really cared about the Linux users here and making sure their application is as widely available as possible. Unfortunately, I don't see any Lightwork support. Maybe we'll see some Lightwork support get added into the future. But you can use DaVinci Resolve, Kdenlive, Audacity, Ardour, PreSonus's Studio One, which is another commercial application that came to Linux not that long ago. So I'm just pumped for this tool. A little bit of a funny story, and it's pretty cool to be involved in this way. When I met them at NAB, I actually requested they make it an app image, and they did not have plans to make an app image, but they did. And so to have a portable version of Soundly that can work across distros means that you're not limited to having to use an Ubuntu Debian-based distro or a Fedora-based distro. You can use pretty much whatever you want and use Soundly to your heart's content. I'm so excited that they did that, and I really thank the Soundly team to listening to feedback and trying to implement things like that so that us Linux users can use it in whatever form that we need it. So instead of me just going on about it, let's jump over to the computer and actually use Soundly. I'll show you the install process and everything you might need to know. To get started, there is a link in the description, but you can go to getsoundly.com. Over in the news section, you're actually going to find experimental Linux support is here, and then you can download the Linux beta. We have an option for Ubuntu Debian, Fedora RHEL. Already that supports a lot of distros, but I'm very thankful that the Soundly team listened to feedback and created an app image. And so that's what I'll be using here today. Even though I am on Ubuntu, I prefer universal formats because that means that we can actually use it pretty much across any distro. And maybe someday all we'll see is app images and flat packs and things like that so that we can get universal support. Now, of course, app images, you can just run them right out of the box. They work great, but you don't install them that way. And if you use app images already, you know this. My favorite thing to do, what we're going to do is start off here, of course, by we're going to unzip Soundly. And we've got our app image right there. And then my favorite way to use app images is by using the application gear lever. And we're going to then go into our Soundly, find app image. And then we move to app menu. And as you can see, it just left the folder. But if we now search for Soundly, there it is in our menu, and we can use it just like an installed application. Super, super easy. Now I'm going to sign into my Soundly account, and here we are inside of Soundly. If you have already used Soundly on Windows and Mac, you're definitely familiar with this, but for anybody who's new to it, we have our Soundly collections, and we can come here, we can find our different sounds here, we can click on it, you can play it, get full sound. Let's go to our libraries, Soundly Pro. Let's try this. We'll go to aircraft. And now we can play a helicopter. So we'll come over here, hit play. And boom, we have our helicopter moving from the left to the right. That's fantastic. You can also turn on or off different audio channels, or you can just run them both. Still getting used to Soundly. I believe you go like this. There we go. Now, this is where it gets really, really cool, and it shows how much the Soundly team cares about what we are doing with Soundly on Linux. As you can see, this is actually the OBS connection, so I could use this to play sounds directly in OBS if I'm live streaming or something like that. The cool thing too, you'll notice that there's cloud, but there's also the ability to have local sound databases. Super, super cool. So I could actually load up all of my pre-selected sound effects and everything, use them right inside of Soundly, do the exact same things. Now, this is where it's awesome. They added Kdenlive support, Audacity, Ardor, all these things I mentioned. So there is a wide range of applications you're gonna be able to use Soundly on Linux directly inside of. My favorite is DaVinci Resolve because that's what I generally edit in. So let's go ahead and open DaVinci Resolve and we'll give it a test. I'm also going to open up Kdenlive and show you guys how it works in there as well. And now this is how easy it is to use Soundly. Now keep in mind this is still a beta, there may be a few quirks, but you just grab your audio, you drag, drop, oh, little touchy. There we go. And the sound effect is right there. It does store the files locally, so you're not just using it off the cloud. Once you select your audio, it will save it into a folder in your home directory, and now you've got those files locally. So you could, of course, identify a specific folder that you want to save everything into. So if we go to Settings, we can actually set up our audio storage folder, so we can change this to be wherever we want it to be on our device or on a shared network drive, something like that. And all of those audio files that you're using within Soundly are going to be saved to there. That way you can keep them archived and use them offline whenever you're not using Soundly, whatever the case is. But it doesn't just stop there. They also have the ability to do AI voice generation. This is super cool to me. So getting out of our settings, we now go to voices, and they have a bunch of voice options right here, super cool. And we can choose the language, we can choose the exact voice we want it to use. And right here it already has some sample text, and now we hit speak it.
Flight SK-84 to Robot Dystopia is departing in 10 minutes from gate 10.
And then we could also select that, and then drag and drop right into Resolve. Little bit touchy. There we go.
Flight SK-84 to Robot Dystopia.
So now you can generate audio, throw it right on the timeline directly from within Soundly. Now, like I mentioned, it's not just DaVinci Resolve. So now let's try using Kdenlive. We're going to open up Kdenlive here. I'm going to create a new project. There we go. And we got Soundly. We got our same audio here. There it is inside of our sequences, and pull it right onto the audio timeline. In fact, it should have pulled right onto the audio timeline. Let's go ahead and get that out of here. I think I was trying to pull it onto a video track. There it is. So,
84 to Robot Dystopia.
And it doesn't matter what audio you go for. We got a cartoon bear, and we'll just select the audio that we want, pull it onto the timeline, and boom. Super, super cool. Oh, and now that's cool. I actually did not change which one I was importing into, and it looks like it automatically detected it and changed it to Kdenlive import. The other thing that you can do is you can select audio here and then just hit S, and boom, it's transferred into Kdenlive. I don't know if that was the same one. I think it was at the end of one, so we'll hit S again, transferring into Kdenlive. Boom, there it is on the timeline. So you can use the keyboard shortcut S, or do my favorite, drag and drop. And this is where it's also really cool. Soundly is installed as an app image, and I'm actually using the flat pack of Kdenlive, and I'm using a Make Resolve Deb version of DaVinci Resolve. So it's like, it doesn't really even matter what version of other applications you have installed. Soundly just seems to work. For the fact that this is a beta, now trust me, when I got my first version of the beta, I couldn't even play back audio files. But within like a few days, they had everything fixed. I would send them my feedback and stuff, and they were like, yep, we fixed that, here it is. And as it sits right now, Soundly seems to be almost entirely functional. I can't think of anything that I've got issues with. But let's try something fun here. We're going to go here, we're gonna go to Sound Designer, we're gonna change our voice to Oliver, and we're gonna say, subscribe to No Plan and Premiere Prep. Speak it.
Subscribe to No Plan and Premiere Prep.
And that is super impressive, just how quickly it gets that audio
Subscribe to No Plan and Premiere Prep.
generated. I mean, it is so fast. So if you're wanting to do AI voices, sound effects, sound design, anything like that, and again, we can pull them into Ardour, Audacity. I know I'm harping on all this stuff over and over again, but it's just so exciting to see a commercial application like Soundly come to Linux and support it so well and so feature-filled. Now, you may be asking, okay, it's not an open source application, which I personally am totally fine with. I want an open source operating system, but I am totally fine with commercial applications myself. If we go to pricing, it's actually far more reasonable than you think. They do have a free tier, so you can use Soundly today completely free, and you get voice generations, you get all sorts of other things, but if you subscribe to the $15 a month plan, you get a whole bunch of other features, which is super cool to see. I own a video production company, and we are rolling this out to everybody. We all edit on Linux, and we're gonna be rolling this out to everybody to use in my company, and that is super cool to have Soundly right there. Again, we have a link in the description, so what are you waiting for? Go give Soundly a try. If you love video editing and creative work on Linux, then Soundly is a tool that you will want to use. Thank you so much to the Soundly team for supporting Linux and supporting it so well. And thanks for the app image. So there is Soundly. It is so cool to see even more commercial applications coming to Linux, and it was very cool to be involved with the beta testing process, and I appreciate the Soundly team for including me on that. If you guys want to test Soundly, you can download it right now. A link is in the description. And just remember, because an application is not on Linux now, it very well could come in the future. And so you guys need to make sure that you make your voices heard if you are a Linux user, and let people know that you want an application on Linux. There's quite a few myself that I would love to see come to Linux, and I'm going to continue to make sure that I make my voice heard, and I'm going to continue to go to conventions and things like that and make it clear that there is a user base that these companies are well off to support. So thank you very much again to the Soundly team for supporting Linux and supporting it in such a great way. Seriously, go check out Soundly. I'm not affiliated with Soundly anyway. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. I just got to be an early beta tester and give them my feedback before they release this beta to the public. And I'm very grateful that they let me do that. And I think that you guys will have a great time using this application. If you're a creative, if you do sound design or anything like that, any of the supported tools that it's there for, you will absolutely love Soundly. So I cannot recommend it enough. Make sure you go check it out in the description. Well, that wraps it up for this pretty quick video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to live your life one frame at a time, and I will catch you next time.